he didn't even apologize. He said, "Oh, I thought I was being a doctor." It's like, no, you're lying. But then he put up another picture, I guess today, of him being hugged by Jesus.
Yeah, we've got that here. We'll just show viewers. Yeah. What do you make of that?
I think I find it insulting that after he committed complete blasphemy and then lied about it, and now he's trying to play to Christians.
Joins me now. Welcome to Uncensored.
Hi, Piers. Thanks for having me today.
Do you know what, Marjorie? You're one of the most fascinating people in American politics, and have become that in the last couple of years, because the movement you've made is now being followed by a lot of other people. And, I posted on X yesterday that Donald Trump, who I've known 20 years and consider a friend, but at the moment, he just seems to be on a mission to piss off absolutely everybody. And a lot of those people are people who've been big supporters of his. You, Tucker, he laid into Megyn Kelly, to Candace Owens, to Alex Jones. He's laid into the Pope. He's mocked Jesus Christ, which has offended a lot of the MAGA Christians and so on. Giorgia Meloni in Italy, he's laid into her now. He's laid into the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, pretty much every other European leader and so on. I don't know what is going on here, but I think my first question for you is, what do you think is going on here? Why is he so willing at the moment to want to torch so many people that were loyal to him?
I think that's the question that everyone should be asking, and I don't have the answer to that. This has been shocking to watch the president change over the past year. While he's president of the United States, we fought very hard to get him elected. I myself spent millions of dollars, traveled the country, campaigned for him, spoke on his rally stages all over the country. And he called me a traitor because I fought to release the Epstein files. But just as you said, we've watched him turn on literally everyone that were once either his friends, his allies, or his supporters. And it's so concerning to me. And I honestly can't answer why this has happened.
You know what's really interesting? If you take your positions, for example, which seem to have enraged him, you wanted full disclosure of the Epstein files. Well, that was exactly what he said he wanted when he was campaigning in 2024 to be president again. You didn't want America to go into expensive, pointless Middle Eastern wars. Well, again, that's what he campaigned to stop America doing if he became president again. I look at this and think, why is he so opposed to you when you're basically taking the positions that he was taking himself just 6 months ago? Or longer than that now, over a year ago. But you know what I mean?
Right. I have no idea. It is honestly something that I legitimately can't answer, and it's confusing, and many people don't understand it. The way I feel about it now, though, is President Trump will soon be the past, and we have to look towards the future. And I think many of the issues that we thought were real problems back in 2024, some of them are still there, but they've also drastically changed. We have real problems in America now that Donald Trump has been president. We're finding ourselves in an escalating war in Iran, which is something that none of us want. It's one of the most unpopular things being polled in America today. But we have real economic problems, rising inflation, rising costs of gas, rising costs of living, younger generations that are unable to thrive and don't have hope for the future. But even bigger problems, nearly $40 trillion in debt, and Social Security will be bankrupt in 7 years. So I think, this is the man that I supported to make America great again. However, I think America is going to find itself in a much deeper hole going towards the next elections.
Would you agree with the following statement? If we confirm that you have won, if we confirm that you are the greatest and most victorious blocker in the entire world, will you put down the phone for half an hour, just half an hour, and attend to your main duty, to the 30 million Americans who have no health insurance, to the 800,000 Americans who are homeless, to America's infrastructure that's dilapidated, to the $38 trillion of United States national debt? Would you concur with that message to Donald Trump?
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, those were the things that I had been saying to the president, to the speaker, to many of my colleagues before I resigned. Health insurance, for one, is a serious problem. And when the tax credits expired in January, there were over 200,000 people in my former district that were unable to afford health insurance. So yes, that's a statement that spans many issues. But yes, I would agree with that.
But here's the extraordinary thing, because that statement was made by the Iranian embassy of Armenia.
It doesn't surprise me. I think the entire world can see clearly what's happening in America and what President Trump is doing.
But what the MAGA crowd will say, and I can hear them say it already when they watch this exchange, right? They'll say, Marjorie Taylor Greene siding with the Iranians against Donald Trump. What do you say to them when they say that? These were people that used to love you.
I say I'm always siding with America, and I'll never apologize for that, no matter whose statement I agree with. Siding with the American people over cost of living, cost of health insurance, their jobs, the economy, and their future is always the right thing to do. And so I wouldn't be fazed by that.
The White House provided this statement to The Hill yesterday in response to your critique of Trump's DoorDash photo op. They said Marjorie Taylor Greene is a quitter who pathetically trying to stay relevant by going on liberal media shows to bash President Trump. Unfortunately, Trump derangement syndrome has rotted former Congresswoman Greene's peanut-sized brain. Your response to that charming description?
Wow. I hadn't heard that until you just read it now. Actually, I had resigned after the president called me a traitor, vowed to literally destroy me, and was going to primary me the same way that he is doing to Thomas Massey right now, which I thought was so incredibly unfair to my district, who had elected me and President Trump. I'll tell you this, Piers, it's actually a really good thing that I'm no longer a part of the institution that has a 13% approval rating in the United States among the American people. Also the same institution that can't even fund our own homeland security right now. So I'm actually very happy to no longer be in Congress and not have to receive nasty phone calls from the president that I supported to get elected, and also be called to the Oval Office to be scolded for not voting for certain things that he wanted that were against our campaign promises. So that would be my response to whatever little staffer at the White House wrote that.
And from a pure factual point of view, have you ever had your brain measured? Is it larger than a peanut?
I haven't had it measured, but I'm quite sure it's larger than a peanut.
the